So welcome to Vishnu Academy, GS Economy Orientation class. Myself, I am Vishnu Vardhan Reddy. I have been teaching economy for UPSC for last 9 years. So I have been teaching economy in Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad in multiple institutions. So in this class, I will be giving you a rough idea about what should be approach towards economy in UPSC for prelims, for mains, and what should be an aspirant mindset while preparing for prelims, while preparing for mains, and apart from that, what is the role of economy in prelims level, role of economy in mains level, all this. But before that, let me ask, all of you are aware about prelims? So GS prelims. So pattern, what is GS prelims pattern here? So in GS prelims, there are two papers, correct? So what are those two papers? General Studies and CSAT, correct? So in prelims, if you look at in GS paper 1, General Studies is broad subject. In GS paper 2, so if you talk about CSAT, we call it as, correct? So CSAT is qualifying in nature. So marks in GS prelims will be counted for whether it will be promoted to mains or not, correct? So in GS paper 1, I have so many subjects: history, geography, polity, economy, geography, society, social issues, science and technology, current affairs, so many things. So in GS paper 1, from economy, every year in prelims, roughly around 15 to 20 questions are being asked. And in mains, in General Studies paper 3, the syllabus says economic growth and economic development, which will roughly is around 130 plus marks. So the role of economy, simple one-line answer, and prelims, roughly 15 to 20 questions, meaning 15 to 20 into 2, 40 marks roughly out of first paper, paper 1. And in GS paper 3, economic growth and economic development, roughly around 130 or 140 plus marks. So which means economy is one of the major pillars, both for prelims preparation as well as for mains preparation. So before I go to subject, the approach, syllabus, resources, content, clarity, let me ask a very fundamental question. Why UPSC aspirant supposed to know about so many subjects, especially in the prelims? So in General Studies, paper 1, so there is something called history. History sir will be explaining in detail about the approach towards history subject, but I'm just basic question I'm asking. Why should we know about history, sir? What is history, sir? So many things have happened in the past, so we are trying to study. Why should we study the past? What is the reason for studying the past? Okay, certain things we have to learn from the past and we don't want to repeat the mistakes. Yes? Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Have you heard about it? Yes? 1957 revolt. So many things have happened in the past. Past is history, future is mystery, only present is present. Past is experience, future is expectation, present is experiment. Use your experience in your experiment, your expectation becomes truth. So what does it mean, sir? So many things have happened in the past. Out of that, something which influenced us mainly, we are trying to cover in history. Geography. So already geography orientation session is over, I hope. So many resources are available: climate, environment, soils, forest, so vegetation. That's what we study in geography. Administrative system, rules, regulations, that's what you will be studying in polity. So how well you use the resources, how effectively we have to use our resources for our welfare, for future welfare, and for the welfare of present generation, for the welfare of the future generations. How effectively an individual is supposed to make use of the resources, how efficiently the system, the community, the government, the country, and the overall, together as a humanity, we supposed to the resources. That is what the purpose of keeping economy. Apart from that, I'll be studying science and technology. So why should one study science and technology, sir? The study of science and technology helps us the understanding and improving the governance aspect. Use the latest technology and try to simplify. And there is something called WhatsApp governance in Andhra Pradesh. Have you heard about that? WhatsApp governance. So if you send WhatsApp to a certain number, services are available and you can do by yourself through online. So Industrial Revolution 1.0, Industrial Revolution 2.0, Industrial Revolution 3.0, Industrial Revolution 4.0. So there are different aspects. So in these aspects, how do we use latest science and technology for improving governance, for the welfare of society, for the welfare of the others? Apart from that, so you have something called current affairs also. So what is that UPSC is testing in prelims? Why do you think all these subjects are kept in the prelims? What is the reason? So before you play any game, first you have to understand the rules of the game. And then you have to play better than everybody else. What is the game in prelims, sir? Especially in GS paper 1, sir. Have you seen this year UPSC prelims? So for the first time they gave 3 statements also. In the options they gave one to explain correctly one. Yes. Paper was lengthy comparatively. So what is the game, sir? Nobody is perfect in all the subjects. But you should get average in all the subjects to be qualified. Meaning you cannot say, sir, I don't like economy, I'll completely leave the economy. Practically not possible. I don't like geography, I'll completely leave the geography. Practically not possible. So, first and foremost, an aspirant supposed to know what is the demand of the prelims exam. So what is the demand of the prelims exam, sir? Basic concepts, current affairs, holistic understanding and interlinking of the concepts. So this is the basic understanding in all these subjects: polity, history, geography, so science and technology, current affairs. In prelims, ideally what an aspirant is supposed to do? First, take up the current year paper. If you're already an aspirant who repeated earlier, who already taken coaching, who completed the preparation, so nothing to worry. Otherwise, just try to know overall, take out the syllabus, look at the questions and find out them into 3 different categories. What are the 3 different categories, sir? I would say, out of all these subjects, follow SWOT analysis. What do you mean by SWOT analysis, sir? Negative areas, positive areas, equal areas. So out of this GS paper 1, history, geography, polity, economy, general science, current affairs, which subject you are good at, which subject you are not so good at, and in that particular subject, which chapters you are good at, which chapters you are not so good at, that is called as negative area. What do you mean by negative area, sir? Based on my educational background, based on my aptitude, based on my attitude, I may like some subject, I may not like some subject, or I have fear about that subject, or my knowledge is zero about that subject. So for example, for a candidate, he does not like, say only for discussion sake, history subject. But can he completely avoid history in the preparation? Then he will be out of UPSC history. So what does it mean? In history also, there are some repeated themes which are asked in the prelims, regularly repeated themes. So first identify your negative areas, meaning which subjects you are not so good at. Also in that subject, which sub-themes and micro-topics which you are not so good at. So this is what is called as negative areas. And what is positive areas, sir? The subjects in which a candidate is good at because of his educational qualifications or because he liked that subject. which we call it as aptitude. That is called as positive area. So what is the meaning of positive area here, sir? Suppose somebody from BA political science background. Obviously for him, polity will be his added subject. So equal subject. What is equal subject, sir? Current affairs. Where you can also score, your friend also can score if you both of you read the subject correctly. Now let's try to understand once again. For each candidate, for each UPSC aspirant, this SWOT analysis will be individual. The reason, which subject you are not so good at, I don't know. Which subject I am not so good at, you don't know. So what is the game in the prelims, sir? Game in the prelims is, in your negative areas, whichever is your negative areas are there, try to get minimum average marks. Don't completely ignore them. In your positive areas, where you are good at, don't make silly mistakes. Try to maximize your score as much as possible. Equal areas, at least try to be equal. The game of the prelims is simple. First, identify your negative areas. Try to improve your negative areas. Try to get minimum your average marks. And positive areas, try to maximize your score as much as possible. Equal areas, at least little be equal. Your friend is able to attempt correctly, you are also able to attempt correctly, because both at the same level of preparation. And be careful. Don't go for wild guessing, because negative marking is there. If you go for wild guessing, finally roll number will be missing. So that is the essence of the prelims game. So prelims is not for selection. Of course, prelims is for elimination of non-serious candidates. That is the purpose of prelims exam. So this is the game of prelims, paper 1, paper 2. Don't completely ignore CSAT paper. For the last several years, every year, examiner is trying to prove that he is above us in terms of question paper setting. And this year, one trap in the exam was, all the questions are not given in the order like other years. Meaning earlier, if a polity question is started, next continuously 10-12 questions will be polity. If economy question was given, next 10-12 questions will be economy. But this year, for the first time, 5 here, 5 there, 5 here, 5 there. Jumbling happened. Emotional stability. Expect the unexpected. That's the motto of UPSC. Always. Prelims level also, mains level also, interview level also. Meaning, even if the questions are jumbled from different subjects, we should have that equanimity of mind and we should have that emotional stability to give a good answer. So that's the reason why this year UPSC prelims started so many lessons. It's okay, we have to learn the lesson from that. So this is the game of the prelims. Then what is the game of the mains, sir? So all of you know, there is something called essay paper, 250 marks. Also general studies, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each 4 into 250 marks. So also optional. 2 papers, paper 1, paper 2. So if you look at 250, 250. So what is the game of the mains, sir? Let's understand what is that UPSC is expecting from this game. Here game is different. Why game is different, sir? Based on 1:12 or based on 1:13 or based on 1:15 of the vacancies from the prelims candidates are qualified. Now this part is common for everyone, but this part is again choice of individual. So which means overall you are writing for 1750 marks plus personality test. So why did they keep this mains papers? Why do you think a civil servant should write? Why they are making us write so many papers? What is that they're testing us in mains? What is the demand of the game in the mains? Still reading in the newspaper. Recently a new bill is introduced in the parliament. Who introduced that bill? Who prepared that bill? Obviously the secretaries. Secretaries means what? Civil servants only. So he'll be dealing with superiors, he'll be dealing with the subordinates, he'll be giving a press conference, he'll be giving a press note, he'll be communicating. So when you are writing something, when you are giving something, whatever you are trying to convey, that should be understood by all. So that's the essence of mains answer writing. Tomorrow, after becoming an officer, he'll be actually drafting the laws for the state government as well as for the central government. He'll be preparing a budget for your department. So he'll be communicating on behalf of Government of India with external organizations also. As an IFS officer, he'll be giving a speech on behalf of India in international forums. So which means minimum basic communication in terms of English writing, clarity of thought, expression, coherence, link one with the other. So UPSC many times mentioned in the answer writing. You'll be surprised. In recent times, in mains also, negative marks or penalty marks are there. So what is this negative mark or penalty marks? If you write irrelevant answer, if you write something which is not at all related to the question, so some of the papers, examiner has given negative marks also in the mains, not in the prelims. Which means UPSC is proving every time, come on, don't go for luck factor. So what is the demand here, sir? Again, paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 4. Whichever papers you are not so good at, you should try to get minimum average marks. Whichever paper you are good at, you should try to maximize the marks. And most important, try to maximize your score as much as in your optional. Don't ignore essay preparation completely till you give the attempt. No. If you are planning to give the attempt in 2026, from the June to December, try to cover all these papers holistically from mains cum prelims perspective. Also join for essay practice course, also for ethics, and try to complete your optional and GS first round preparation along with the answer writing by December. Probably from 2026 January onwards, you'll switch over completely towards prelims. Now what we supposed to do, sir? Read a topic, look at the previous year mains questions, look at the previous year prelims questions. So try to solve, try to find out the themes, headings, subheadings, broad components. So this is what is required in general. Now let's come to the purpose of today's class. Economy specific. So I'll be here to deal with next half an hour to give you an idea about what is economy, what is asked in prelims, what is asked in mains. I'm just casually asking, why should we know economy? Come on, dear. In UPSC, why should we know economy? Okay, let me ask the question reverse. In your family, how many are working in the family? 1 or 2? How many are dependent in the family? Okay, so resources are limited, needs are unlimited. Can we say that for everybody? How much time is available? 24 hours. How do we use the 24 hours? Depending upon that, our future will be decided. So, for a person, for a family, for a society, for a community, resources are limited, needs are unlimited. How effectively we make a choice so that we'll get benefited, society also will get benefited. So practically, you'll be dealing with preparing the budget for the government. You'll be suggesting the government to come up with a welfare policy. You'll be telling the government in what way we can save money. So you'll be telling the government in what way you can actually come up with different new parameters to reduce the burden on the government. So all this they'll be evaluating. Now in prelims, in UPSC General Studies Paper 1, syllabus simply says economic growth and development in India. Economic growth and development in India. So this is what is mentioned in prelims. So it's a broader word or broader format. Syllabus is mentioned. Whatever examiner feels economic growth and development in India, he can ask a question. But how do we know, sir, what all come under this economic growth and development in India, sir? In GS paper 3 main syllabus, if you see, clear headings are there, clear subheadings are there, clear micro topics also are listed out. Agriculture, land reforms, industrialization, poverty and employment, infrastructure, roadway, railway, aviation, services, industrialization, industrial sector, external sector, balance of payment, 1991 economic reforms. So GS paper 3 mains, I would say, economy mains syllabus is clearly defined. So if you are thorough with the themes, sub-themes which are mentioned in the syllabus, plus current affairs data, your economic preparation is done for the mains. In fact, we can guess around 8 out of 10 questions in the mains. The reason being, a topic in the news, or you have been hearing about that regularly, or some current update is there, or our Prime Minister or Council of Ministers is speaking about that particular event, we can guess this might be a mains question. So in mains, relatively, we'll prepare a broad themes, around 100 themes, ready with introduction, body, conclusion, data, fact sheet. For each topic, preparation is done. But in prelims, we have to cover holistically the most of the chapters and basics. So if I have to divide, or if I have to break the syllabus of economy into micro topics, again, how do we know what is the syllabus, sir? Always POQs. Previous year questions are called as Man Ki Baat of the examiner. How do you mean by Man Ki Baat of the examiner, sir? What is the mindset of the examiner from this particular subject? If you look at this year prelims, economy questions, interesting. For the first time, they gave numbers and they asked. Earlier, they used to ask fiscal deficit, revenue deficit, effective revenue deficit, only the formula. Now they give the numbers and they're asking how much is revenue deficit, how much is fiscal deficit, how much is effective revenue deficit. And some of the questions came from capital market and money market, share, bond, mutual fund, capital account, revenue account, which comes under capital account, which comes under revenue account, circular economy. So which means, if you observe broadly, the themes of the economy is identified into all these following chapters. So, national income, examiner's favorite topic anyway. See, nowhere it is mentioned that this topic is a prelims topic, this topic is a mains topic. However, if you look at previous year questions, we can make out. Agriculture, most of the questions are coming in the mains, 2-3 mains questions are coming. But in prelim schemes are asked. From agriculture, in prelim schemes are asked. From infrastructure, roadway, railway, aviation, schemes are asked in prelims. But mains question are asked in GS paper 3. So agriculture, industry, investment model, poverty and employment, planning nitiyo, infrastructure, services. These are generally referred as mains specific topics in GS paper 3. But nothing like that. In prelims also they can ask. So if I have to list out all the topics which are mentioned from previous year questions. So national income, inflation. Every 2 months you'll be reading the newspaper. Monetary policy. So also banking and RBI. So examiner's favorite topic every year prelims, financial market. So all this will constitute one block. We call it as block 1, which is foundation stone for our preparation. So both for prelims as well as for mains. I'll be dealing with each micro topic also. Second block, which we broadly identify, is taxation, fiscal policy and budgeting. Here only Finance Commission, Special Category Status, 14th Finance Commission, 15th Finance Commission, 16th Finance Commission right now. So many questions came from capital account and revenue account. This year prelims also. This we call it as block 2. Again, important for prelims also, important for mains also. Second block, which is interesting in economy specific, is, so if you look at, we use this word called as external sector. So you keep hearing. I'm going to explain each micro topic also in detail, nothing to worry. And we are going to cover foreign trade, international economic organizations. So international relations you'll study IR, but here we are studying about international economic organizations, WTO, IMF, BRICS, ADB, all that. So apart from this, if you look at specific to mains topic, agriculture, industry, investment models, poverty and employment is asked in both prelims also, mains also. Planning Niti Aayog. So earlier more focus was on planning, now more focus is on Niti Aayog. Infrastructure and services. Infrastructure include roadway, railway, aviation, all that. Recently China bridge is in the news. So you can expect a mains question this year. So role of infrastructure. So if you look at economy from prelims perspective and mains perspective, these are the broader themes that we have to cover. So national income, inflation, monetary policy, banking and RBI, financial market, taxation, fiscal policy, budgeting, external sector, foreign trade, international economic organizations, agriculture, industry, investment models, poverty and employment, planning Niti Aayog, infrastructure, services. Sir, how do we approach? How do we approach the subject, sir? If you are thorough with all these topics, your preparation is done for prelims as well as mains. Coming to the chapter called national income. So in prelims, examiner is expecting us to know the correct meaning of the word. So I would say entire economy for the prelims can be summarized into meaning of 100 to 120 words. So from all the chapters, there are certain terms, 100 to 120 words. We need not by heart the definition, we need to understand the meaning of the word and correct scientific interpretation of the word. So in prelims, you need to follow CCC approach. So concept, current affairs and current data. Concept, current affairs are related to that particular topic and the current data related to it. So how, sir? So what is national income? From this national income chapter, I'll be explaining both prelims themes also, main theme also. So if you take a chapter called national income, always start with the basics. So first step in preparation for economy is try to understand the meaning of the term, glossary of the terms, economy basic terminology. So NCERT, all the books are not important because microeconomics is not there in UPSC. Diagrams, charts, theorems, that is not there in UPSC. Only Indian economy and development is there. So from national income, what are prelims themes? What are main themes, sir? So if you look at prelims themes, national income, per capita income, disposable income, nominal income, real income. So government is transferring money to public. Should we consider that as income? Can we consider this as income from economic perspective? First of all, why should we estimate national income, sir? So we are going to cover a broader concept. Economic growth, economic development, inclusive growth, financial inclusion, Kuznets curve, inequalities, all the concept. But the broader theme of the concept called national income is how well we are using our resources, what is happening to income of the person, what is happening to income of the nation, labor force, workforce. So types of income. Here only we are going to cover measurements of national income also. So you keep hearing one word, GDP, nominal GDP, potential GDP, green GDP, real GDP. So how GDP is calculated, what is meaning of GDP, what is included, what is not included. So in what way we improved our GDP estimations, all that. Similarly, GNP, NDP, NNP, different indicators. So these are regularly asked in the prelims. What is included, what is not included, what is the basic difference between GDP and GNP, what is the difference between NDP and NNP, why NDP and NNP are not used for economic growth comparison. So apart from that, current affairs topics, if you remember, potential GDP, green GDP, these are current affairs topic with respect to GDP only. Apart from that, methods of estimation of national income, which means income method, expenditure method, production method. So combined method, our NSO follows combined method in estimation of national income. So this is asked even in mains also. Apart from that, business cycles. So what are business cycles, sir? Boom, slowdown, recession, depression, double dip recession. So these are called as business cycles. How the economy is going on, how different sectors are going on, how overview of all these economic aspects. And from mains perspective, if we look at national income chapter, changes in estimation of national income from 2015. Direct mains question came. Precautions and limitations while estimating national income. Direct mains question came. Apart from that, inclusive growth. Every year, regularly one mains question is being asked. Apart from that, current affairs, $5 trillion. India recently became 4th largest economy. So around GDP is $4.3 trillion. So $7 trillion target, $26 trillion target, Viksit Bharat, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to Amrit Kal. So this is the broader theme of the concept called as national income. So what a candidate is supposed to do, sir? After a topic is completed in the class, we'll be covering, whenever topic comes, I'll be asking you to solve the previous question, solve prelims question also, mains question also. So read a topic, read a micro theme, try to solve previous year prelims questions, try to practice previous year questions, mains answer writing also. Meaning, you'll be trying to divide the total syllabus into a topic, read one topic, after that immediately solve previous prelims questions, look at previous mains question and make a short notes on that. Whenever you read the newspaper, if you get any current affairs or a data, for example, there is government is planning to revise the base year. So when you come across this current affairs, you have to add that current affairs to the class notes. So this is the first chapter called as national income. Now, $7 trillion economy you can expect right now. And our Honorable Prime Minister is saying, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Prayas, Sabka Vishwas, inclusive growth. So many banking services are well and improved in the rural area right now. Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, Mera Khata, Bhagya Vidata, zero balance accounts, no frill accounts. So this is the broader theme of a micro topic called as national income. Then what is the essence of inflation, sir? We used to think inflation is asked only in prelims, but last year UPSC has given a surprise. They gave a mains question also, where they said quantitative tools of RBI are not so effective in controlling food inflation. So mains question also came. So what is this inflation, sir? Here we need to understand cost, price, types of goods, capital good, consumer good, Weber good, Veblen good, inferior good. Again, so if you look at how price will change, so the broader concept is why prices are not constant, what is demand, what is supply, what is price demand elasticity, why price is being changed, because of which reason price is changing. Is it because of supply side, is it because of demand side? If prices increases, what is the impact? If prices decreases, what is the impact? And types of inflation based on causes, types of inflation based on inflation growth rate, types of inflation based on the inflation targeting. So here only we are going to cover core inflation, food inflation, headline inflation, creeping inflation, running inflation, galloping inflation, hyperinflation. So inflation, deflation, reflation, stagflation. So we'll be trying to come across various meaning of the word called as inflation. No need to by heart in this chapter. You just need to correctly understand the meaning of the word. That is the essence of the chapter. Again, to control inflation, what are the measures which are available? Supply side measures what are available? Demand side measures what are available? Again, why food inflation is persistently increasing? What is the reason for persistent food inflation? So last year question came. Quantitative tools of RBI are not so effective in controlling food inflation. So should we remember, again in inflation, another popular theme of the examiner is WPI, CPI, Consumer Price Index Rural, Consumer Price Index Urban, Consumer Price Index Agricultural Laborer, Consumer Price Index Industrial Laborer. Also, so GDP deflator. And what is the impact of inflation? Positive impact, negative impact. Inflation tax, inflation premium. Inflationary gap, deflationary gap. So all this is the essence of the chapter called as inflation. So if you just know the correct meaning of the word, you'll be able to answer in the prelims. Should we remember the data of the inflation, sir? No need to remember. But in mains answer writing, you can observe the trend and you can actually say overall you can just ensure that, sir, this particular trend of inflation, this particular type of inflation is observed in so and so phenomenon. Example, why food inflation is more in urban areas compared to rural areas? So we need to understand what is happening, the reason. So micro factors, macro factors, food habits, dress habits, economic aspect. Here only the concept called as disposable income. All the concepts will come. Okay. So here only regularly examiner is asking a question. He is focusing for not the meaning of the term or the definition, but is interested in understanding. To control inflation, the following measures can be taken. Or to ensure stability in the prices, what measures can be taken? So one more micro topic, inflation targeting, 4% plus or minus 2%, flexible inflation targeting, Urjit Patel Committee, Monetary Policy Committee, bi-monthly monetary policy review. So relationship between interest rates and money supply. So this is the essence of the second chapter called as inflation. Now if you look at one more word, monetary policy. So this is highly rewarding for prelims. Regularly questions are asked, sometimes in mains also. But in monetary policy we are going to cover what is money, origin of the money, evolution of the money. So what is the evolution of the money, sir? Initially barter system, animal money, metallic money. From metallic money, the concepts came, the present, so token money, legal tender money, near money, dear money, hard money, soft money, cryptocurrency, central bank digital currency. So quantitative tools of RBI, repo rate, reverse repo rate, CRR, SLR, all these concepts we are going to cover in terms of monetary policy. So how effective monetary policy is in controlling inflation? So quantitative tools and qualitative tools. So repo rate, reverse repo rate, CRR, SLR, MSF, SDF. So how effective the monetary policy tools are in controlling inflation? How effective monetary policy tools are in ensuring stability in the economy? What is the interface between inflation and GDP? Inflation versus growth, GDP versus growth. So this will be called, actually is called as monetary policy, both important for prelims as well as for mains. So if you look at the objective of monetary policy is once again to know how the money supply is being influenced. Should we increase money supply? Should we decrease money supply? Or the interface between almost every 2 months bi-monthly monetary policy will be reviewed by RBI, which means the concept of bi-monthly monetary policy is understood from various aspects. So again, what type of money M1, M2, M3, M4 according to RBI, circulation. So this is the essence of the chapter called as monetary policy. So this is the essence of national income, inflation, monetary policy. Now banking and RBI. So many reforms are coming in banking and RBI. So what is bank? What are types of bank? So developmental bank, commercial bank, RTGS. This year prelims question came. RTGS and NEFT. Timing and the transactions time. RTGS, NEFT, IMPS, payment and settlement systems, Islamic banking, insolvency, bankruptcy code. So apart from that, so if you look at overall, the aspect of this banking concept is simple. Whenever you talk about banking concept, we just need to understand the meaning of the word. Bank, types of banks, trends in banking, payment and settlement systems. Besides, we are going to cover how the banking system is changing right now, banking frauds, so insolvency, bankruptcy code, assets, camels, NPA, types of assets. So main questions also are bank consolidation, bank merger, bank acquisition. So which means both important for prelims also, mains also. But for prelims, rough idea about banking system, how it functions. See, theory is not there. We are not studying any theory. We are just looking at how they are used. So when you go to a bank, what are the various types of accounts we have? What are the various loans and advances we have? Secured, unsecured, mortgage. Apart from that, so when loans are not repaid, assets, so how assets are classified, all that. So that the essence of the chapter called as banking. In the recent trend, settlement and systems. So UPI 123 pay, internationalization of rupee. So our RBI's interconnection with other central banks. So these are the focus primarily in the exam. So this is the first block. So if we talk about bank, types of bank, all this. Then our topic is taxation, fiscal policy, budgeting. So in this taxation, fiscal policy, budgeting, we'll be trying to cover tax, direct tax, indirect tax, types of taxes. So apart from that, income tax, corporate tax, wealth tax, gift tax, dividend distribution tax, types of taxation model, progressive, regressive taxation, direct tax code, reforms in the recent trends. So change the tax slab, income year, assessment year, tax year. So very basic meaning word only. And indirect taxes, sales tax, VAT, GST, excise duty, customs duty, countervailing duty, anti-dumping duty, recent trends. So current affairs also are there. Angel tax, Buffett tax, so Tobin tax, global minimum corporate tax. So which means this chapter will tell us how government is getting income. Fiscal policy, for what purpose government is spending the money. So again, budget, types of budget, revenue account, capital account, deficit financing, finance commission. So this is the broad essence of the chapter. FRBM Act, Finance Commission, 14th Finance Commission, 15th Finance Commission, 16th Finance Commission. Criteria which they follow: demography, population, tax cover, special category status, something in the news. So this is the basic essence of the chapter. Again, mains questions are GST is a regular repeated mains question. FRBM Act is a regular repeated mains question. Plus, if you look at overview of the taxation chapter, tax reforms, recent changes introduced by the government. So, carefully what an aspirant is supposed to do, apart from knowing this definition, the aspirant also supposed to know the current data from the year in which you are writing the exam. Which year budget and economic survey data, the relevant data also we have to take. That is called as taxation, fiscal policy, budgeting. So the next topic would be external sector. Here, open economy, closed economy, glass door economy, current account, capital account, convertibility of rupee, exchange rate system, fixed exchange rate system, floating exchange rate system, managed floating exchange rate system, India's interaction with the world, that is what called as external sector. Probably will be covering BOP crisis, balance of payment crisis in Sri Lanka, balance of payment crisis in Pakistan, internationalization of rupee, also payment and settlement systems. So you keep hearing so many words: dollarization, de-dollarization, internationalization. So essence of this chapter is how our economy is interacting with the world. So apart from that, we'll be covering foreign trade, types of trade agreements, FTA, CECA, CEPA, regularly reading the newspaper. Wherever a prime minister is going, he is negotiating some trade agreement. So what are the different types of trade agreements? Positive list, negative list, most favored nation, national treatment, reciprocity. So in simple, how we are interdependent on each other. Then international economic organizations, IMF, World Bank. This year question came on sub-organizations of World Bank Group, IBRD, IDA, IFC, MIGA, ICSID, IMF. So World Bank, EDB, BRICS Bank. Why India is member of this? Why India is not member of all of the groups? So how these international economic organizations are creating finances, how they are helping the developed countries, how they are helping developing countries, how they are providing finances to all of us. That is the essence of this chapter. Now I told, if you observe previous questions, agriculture is very important for mains. Minimum every year, 2 to 3 questions in the mains in GS paper 3 are coming from agriculture. Agriculture, land, water, irrigation, cropping patterns, seeds, fertilizers, organic farming, zero budget natural farming, green revolution, evergreen revolution, food processing industry, fisheries. Recent burning topic, minimum support price. What farmers are asking, why government is not giving. Farm laws also. So now agricultural marketing, go downs, loan waiver, farmer suicides. So lack of agricultural credit, so crop insurance, so many welfare policies announced by the government. Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, PM Pranam. So we are going to cover in detail each sub-theme also, land reforms also. What was land reforms earlier? What is land reforms now? What will be the change in the land reforms in future? So all this we are going to talk about agriculture chapter. Industry. How industries got evolved for a period of time, how industry was before British, after British, IPR 1948, 1956, 1977, 1988, 1990, present LPG reforms. So Industrial Revolution 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. Investment model, a question from public-private partnership is being asked. Swiss challenge method. Only government can do or private can do, or combination of both of them. So recently, a railway station near Bhopal, Habibganj, he's handed over in public-private partnership to a private firm. So a question came, do you think, should we go for public-private partnership? Meaning government also is there, private also is there, together they are investing. Okay? Then poverty and employment. Government says some data, poverty in India is less than 20%. Unemployment is less than 5%. Do you believe this poverty? Absolute poverty, relative poverty, subculture of poverty, how poverty is estimated, time poverty, Gini coefficient, poverty indicators. how below poverty line, above poverty line is decided, same index, different committees on poverty, OIKLA committee, Rangarajan committee, Tendulkar committee. What is the present data of the poverty, multidimensional poverty index, all that we are going to cover. Very favorite for examiner topic, unemployment. So how unemployment is defined, sir? What is the criteria, sir? Seasonal employment, cyclical unemployment, cultural unemployment, technical unemployment. So recent, disguised unemployment. So what is the criteria? What is periodic labor force survey? So how do we identify periodic labor force survey? What is the change that we are observing? Current affairs, gig economy. Have you heard about gig economy? Gig economy, orange economy, organized sector, unorganized sector, formal, informal nature, all this we are going to cover. Then planning and Niti Ayog. So earlier, more focus was on planning. But anyway, planning was abolished in 2015. Now more focus is on Niti Ayog. In prelims, focus is on reports of Niti Ayog. In mains, focus is on implementation of Niti Ayog policies. Compare and contrast Planning Commission with Niti Ayog. How effective Niti Ayog is promoting cooperative federalism. How Niti Ayog is different from Planning Commission in terms of composition, in terms of implementation. Then infrastructure. Every year regular repeated question. Roadway, railway, aviation. Any one of the infrastructure question is going to come. Last year, aviation question came. Earlier, railways came. So this year, roadways is the expected question. So you can guess. Mains questions you can guess almost because of the themes. Any current affairs related data that you observe in the newspaper. So China bridge, we can code them in our infrastructure answer. Defense statistics, we can code in our answer. So this particular block is especially for mains, but we have to cover every topic from prelims as well as mains perspective. So initially what we supposed to do, sir? Before we go to the syllabus, we need to understand the terminology first. Basics understanding of all this. So, should we read all the NCERTs, sir? Not required, because microeconomics is not there. Only macroeconomics is there. That too, whatever is given in our UPSC syllabus only is required for us. So, if you are thorough with the basic terminology of 100 to 150 words of the economy, preparation is done. For mains, whenever you are preparing, compilations will come. From that, you have to take the data and you have to make an answer structure. So, but while in our regular class, here what we are going to do, every topic will be covering from prelims also, mains also. I'll be discussing prelims questions also. I'll be discussing mains questions also, answer rating also along with the topic. So, by the time we complete national income, all previous prelims questions also will be covered. All previous year mains questions also will be covered. And expected question, how question will be. So, if we follow this approach, economy will become much easy. Don't try to by heart economy. Try to understand the meaning of the word. That's all for prelims. And try to do brainstorming about the topic and try to get the collective data from various dimensions. That is for the mains. So, economy is not difficult. If you have right approach, economy will be enjoying, because if you know the concept, no need to remember. Based on concept, you will be able to identify the answer. But you try to by heart GDP, GNP, NDP, NNP, current account, capital account, then it becomes too difficult. So again, market is flooded with so much of materials of 1000 pages, 2000 pages, 3000 pages. Once again, I am saying every page in that book is not important for the exam. What is relevant? How do we know, sir? By looking at previous year prelims questions, by looking at previous year mains questions. If you are able to answer them, your preparation is up to the standard. So what you have to do, sir, right now, till economic classes start, if you want to develop, just keep reading the basic terminology of economy. So, anyway, about myself, I told earlier, I have been teaching economy for last 9 years for UPSC candidates. So this is my Telegram ID, IAS Educare. So daily I am posting current affairs update as well as economy updates. Specifically in economy folder, from daily newspaper, whatever is relevant for the exam, both for prelims as well as for the mains. And in fact, I am posting daily mains question answer session also. So initially, you may not understand what is told in the newspaper. You may not know everything that they're talking about. Nothing to worry. So just try to get a rough idea. Suppose today's newspaper, FDI is in the news. Just know the meaning of the word. So when actually our classes happens, once our basics are done, when you read the paper, you will understand everything. Suppose inflation chapter is over for you. Then you are reading a paper, WPA, CPA, RBA. You'll understand, oh, very nice, very easy only. So as we develop the concepts over a period of time, holistically, so in prelims, 15 to 20 questions. In mains, GS paper 3, roughly 130 to 140 marks. So economy is not difficult. I'll make it as interesting as possible. And the correct mindset should be there toward the approach. Don't by heart. Try to understand the concept. And your class notes will be more than sufficient. Only thing that is expected of you is, apart from your class notes, if any current affairs is there relevant to that particular topic, we just have to add to it. So this is what is the approach required for UPSC, for economy. Okay? So any doubts you have, you can ask. Online students, Nikhil, Raj. I hope I gave a rough idea about economy. So in such a span of time, we covered prelim themes also, mains themes also, entire syllabus also. This is not to test our knowledge. This is not to just to judge us. This is only to a guide. So which means these topics broadly you have to cover from prelims perspective, from mains perspective. No specific formula. Concept is there. Formulas are not there. They're not able to explain the concept. That's why they're using the word formula. That is not a formula. That is a concept. If you understand the concept, no need to by heart the formula. Where the formula will come? When you don't know the reason or scientifically the logic behind it, then they'll blindly defend the formula. Formula is not there like mathematics. It is a concept. You need to understand correctly the concept and comparison of the concept with the other concept. Take it. So for example, fiscal deficit. If you just simply by heart, total expenditure minus total receipt excluding borrowings. So that's a formula. Why formula, sir? Because they're not explaining how the concept came. But if you know why borrowing is not included, that is not a formula, that is a concept. So I would say formula is not there. But unfortunately, because again, some of the teachers are telling them as a formula. It is not a formula, it is just a concept. We correctly need to understand the concept. If you understand what is capital account, what is revenue account, logically, scientifically, you need not remember anything from that chapter. Whatever options are given, you can identify. But if you try to by heart, it is investment come under capital account, borrowing come under capital account, that becomes headache for the aspirant and you will forget. That should not be the mode. What is capital account? What is the logic of capital account? What type of transactions come under capital account? So I'll give a simple example. Any transaction that alters asset or liability of the government comes under capital account. That is the reason and the logic of the capital account. Whatever government is doing, if government asset is increasing or decreasing, if government liability is increasing or decreasing, all that comes under capital account. Remaining all comes under revenue account. This is the logic of the topic. If you just know this line, in the prelim they're asking, government is selling a PSU. So government is selling a PSU means what is happening to ownership? Government is selling a PSU means government has some 50%, 60%, 70% ownership in the public organization. Government is selling it. So what happens to government ownership? Decreasing. So if government asset increases or decreases, if government liability increases or decreases, it comes under which account? Capital account. That is the logic. So you should not by heart for every topic, including finance commission, including external sector exchange rate systems, convertibility of rupee, everywhere, logic is there and context is there. Rather than understanding the logic and the context, if you go for formula, you will face a problem. The reason, UPSC is one step smarter than us. They are not giving the formula. They are doing the reverse and the opposite of that and they are asking what is this. So that's why it is not advisable to remember the formula. Rather understand the concept. Based on the concept, even if you don't remember the formula, you'll be able to solve the answer. So you will get. So after 1 week of the economy classes, all your doubts will be vanished. You will feel, oh, so nice, so easy, nothing is there. It is not about the difficulty of the subject. It is the way it is portrayed. See, initially, car driving. Is it difficult? Is it difficult? Because everybody else was saying it was difficult. But first 1 week is over, we started. So second week, same logic. Okay? So what books to read? If you're intelligent, if you're smart, you have to read my class notes first time. If you're intelligent, if you're smart, you have to read my class notes second time. So if you have to again read third time. So don't worry. I'll be giving a notes in such a way for each topic. After explaining the topic, prelims concepts, mains topics, current affairs, all are given in the class notes itself. I just expect you to follow whatever is given. Only one, after the topic is over, try to solve previous year prelims questions, look at the previous year mains question. And if at all, after the topic is over, if any particular current affairs data comes, you have to add. Sir, I want to give a serious attempt in 2026, but I did not completed NCERTs of all subjects. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible, dear. Till time is there. You try to plan in such a way, before December, rough idea of all the GS topics, 1, 2, 3, 4. So reading NCERT is compulsory for every subject. That purely depend upon your educational background and your basic knowledge. So it's not compulsory, but if you read the NCERT as suggested by the faculty related to that particular book, instead of directly jumping, we are understanding how it is built over 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. So that is the reason why NCERTs are suggested. Even if you don't read NCERTs of all the subjects, nothing to worry. For here, every faculty will start from basic only and they'll build up the concept to the advanced. Meaning backside of NCERT's glossary is there. First they are explained in the class, from there only concept is taken. So ideally, if NCERT foundation classes are given to you, you can just give a glance to it before you come to the class. That too not to understand. See, don't try to read, don't try to make notes, all that. It's a casual reading. Just to get a familiarity of the subject. Okay, economy, what terms are there? I just want to know, that's all. So when you come to the class, if you just listen in the class from basic to the advanced, you will get the link. So yes, you can cover. Still if you want to read, if you want to complete, I would suggest you can take NCERT gist which is available in the market. For each subject, NCERT gist is available in the market. So that NCERT gist you can take. Okay, Nikhil? First have right attitude and right mindset. Everything else will be taken care of. Nothing to worry. Anything else? Hope I entertained you enough. Another question? Don't worry. Once economy classes start, you will understand. So economy is so simple. Honestly, people are making it so complex. Resources. I told you already, dear. Don't try to... exactly. You should not become book collector. You should become district collector. Standard book is my class notes. That's what I told. But still if you want, it's okay. Still if you want, whichever book has least number of pages in the market. I'm telling once again, whichever book has least number of pages in the market. Don't think just because a book is bulky and lengthy, it is standard. No. Out of that, what is relevant for our prelims and mains is roughly around 40-50 pages or less than that. So initially, I would say don't jump into buying the market flooded material, not required. But if you still want to buy a book, if you don't have, no sir, I want to start off, that's fine dear, you can start off, go to market, look at all the books available, whichever has least number of pages. That will be a standard book. Why sir? I told, prelims is entire 100-150 terms meaning only, nothing else. Mains is Last 1 year, current affairs of the economy topics and the data only. That's it, nothing else. So answer is, if I were a student to select a good standard book for economy, look at all, whichever has least number of pages, select that. And most important, questions will not come from any book. Question will come from concept. Okay? I am not against any author. I am not in support of any author. The reason being, authors are good at making simple things complex. That's why they are called as authors. Teachers supposed to make complex things simple. That's why they are called as teachers. But still, it's okay. There is nothing wrong. You can buy any book, but don't try to read from first page to last page in the order. Not required. Keep the syllabus copy. Look at the previous questions. Look at the main themes. Then you have to identify, oh, this much is important. That's all. 1000 pages book. Every book is not important. Every page is not important. So generally what happens every year? When a question comes, they add 10 pages related to that to a book. Suppose a question comes this year, 10 pages related to that will be added. In the process, what happens to book? Book becomes bulky. So that's how the book becomes. Fact and concept. Just remembering is a fact. Understand the scientific reason behind it is called as concept. Sun rises in the east is a fact. Why only east, sir? Why not west, sir? If you try to explain from latitude, longitude, revolution, then that is called as concept. Okay? Curiosity. Don't worry. If you just have curiosity and come with an open mind and with a positive attitude, we are there here. Okay, dear? Shall we wind up? Or anything else? See, the purpose of today's session is just to introduce you what is economy subject, what is there inside the economy subject, what is expected in prelims, what is expected in mains, what should be our mindset toward the exam. That's all, nothing else. Nikhil, did I answer your questions? Anything else? Feeling hungry, feeling angry? Evening time, sir, snacks, tea, coffee? No, sir. Right to be silent is a fundamental right. No. See, nothing to worry. So meanwhile, see, I suggest not to buy book immediately because just have patience. The reason, once again, I'm saying, we have to take a consolidated, updated, which is available. So probably just wait for some time. Don't be in a hurry to buy the books which are available in the market. Someone is giving something an offer means it is not so important. So that we should decide. Don't be in a hurry. So if required, I'll suggest you. I'll tell you which page numbers to suggest also, which page number to refer also. That only you read. Remaining all, no. Not advisable at all. The reason, once again, I'm saying, most of the standard books only have the static part. They are not able to cover with the current affairs and relevant. Because by the time that book was written, whatever is available only, it was available. But after that, so many current affairs got added. So that we have to do in our class notes. But any standard book should be used only as complementary. But primary sources will be your class notes. It is not a replacement, it is just a supplementary. That's all. Primary notes will be your class notes. Okay? Still you want to read something, don't worry, in Telegram group, I told you, IAS Educare Economy folder. I'll post economy gist, all the terminology. You can just casually read. NCERT, from NCERT backside terminology is there. All the gist I'll post. So terminology I'll post. So you can just read casually. No need to buy heart anything. Okay, dear? Thank you so much for your monumental patience. Hopefully meet in the class and I'll make your economy as simple as possible. Okay? Anything else? Nikhil, Tagore, Raj, is it okay? Your choice. If you want to buy revised edition also, it was edited till the book was printed only. See, what I'm trying to say is, if you buy any book, every page in that book is not important for our exam. Still, if you want to buy, you can buy. You are welcome. But try to take which is more relevant for the exam. Okay? Thank you.